Why Men Crack. An authority of international standing recently wrote, "You have overeaten and plugged your organs with moderate stimulants, the worst of which are not only alcohol and tobacco, but caffeine and sugar." He was talking to men who crack physically in the race for success. You know them, strong men, vigorous men, robust men. Men who have never had a sick day in their lives. They drive themselves to the limit. They lash themselves over the limit with stimulants. They crack, often they crash. You have seen them afterward, pitiful shells, the zest gone, the fire gone, burnt out furnaces of energy. He was such a healthy looking man. He was. His health was his undoing. His constitution absorbed punishment. Otherwise he might have been warned in time. For every action there is an equal and contrary reaction. You learned the law in physics. It applies to bodies. For every ounce of energy gained by stimulation, by whipping the nerves to action, an ounce of reserve strength is drained. If the reserve is great, its loss may not be felt immediately, but repeated withdrawals exhaust any reserve. Physical bankruptcy, then the crash. The last 10 years have been overwrought. Men have disregarded much that they know about hygiene, about health. Keeping up with the times, inflated currency, stimulated production, feverish living, goaded nerves. It is time to check up. It is time to get back to normal, to close the drafts, to bank some of the fires. It is time to remember some of the simple lessons of health you learned in school. Avoid stimulants. What is good for the boy is good for the man. Life is worth living normally. The world looks good in the morning to the man whose head does not have to be cleared. Borrowed energy must be repaid. 2 million American families avoid caffeine by drinking Postum, and 2 million American families are better off for it. They have deprived themselves of nothing. The need they feel for a good hot drink is amply satisfied by Postum. They like its taste, they like its wholesomeness. They prefer the energy, real energy, of bodybuilding grain in place of artificial energy borrowed from the body's own reserve by drug stimulation. Postum is made of whole wheat and bran roasted, a little sweetening, nothing more. It is not an imitation of coffee or anything else. It is an excellent drink in its own right. It has a full, rich flavor, inherited directly from nourishing wheat and system-toning bran. Instead of retarding or upsetting digestion, it is an actual help, making the meal more appetizing and warming the stomach without counteracting these good effects by drugging. There isn't a wakeful hour, a taut nerve, or a headache in it. You can drink it every meal of the day. Relish it, crave it, knowing that it is a help, not a hindrance, to health and efficiency. A sporting proposition. You have a good many years yet to live, we hope. A good many years to do with as you please. We are going to ask you, in the interest of your health, usefulness, and happiness during these remaining years, to try Postum for 30 days. To make it a sporting proposition, we will give you the first week's supply of Postum, enough for a cup with every meal for a week. But we want you to carry on from that point for 30 days. You can't expect to free yourself from the accumulated effect of a habit of years in 2 or 3 days, or even a week. There is a woman in Battle Creek, Michigan, famous for her Postum. She has traveled all over the country preparing it. She has personally served it to over 500,000 people at expositions, food fairs, and at Postum headquarters in Battle Creek, where she has 25,000 visitors yearly. Her name is Carrie Blanchard. Men who have tasted Carrie Blanchard's Postum have the habit of remembering its goodness. We've asked her to tell men about Postum made in the Carrie Blanchard way. She wants to start you on your 30-day test with her own directions in addition to the week's supply. You men who have not cracked, it might be well to accept Carrie Blanchard's offer. Carrie Blanchard's offer. Men have always been partial to my postum. Anybody can make it as well as I can, but there are a few simple things to remember. I have written these things down and will be mighty glad to send my directions to anyone who will write. I also want to send enough instant postum or postum cereal, the kind you boil, to get you well started on your 30-day test. If you will send in your name and address, I'll see that you get the kind you want right away. Tear this out, mail it now, and there you have the coupon. Postum Cereal Co. Inc., Battle Creek, Michigan. I want to make a 30-day test of postum. Please send me, without cost or obligation, 1 week supply, instant postum cereal. Then you have, of course, the name and street and whatnot. So, good ad. Picture there of, I guess a man who was cracked or was about to crack. He looks like it anyways. And I especially like the first paragraph of this ad. Let me read it out again just to show you what I mean. The very short sentences, very choppy sentences. Notice the words, there's only like 1 or 2 syllables in each word. I think vigorous is probably the longest word there, or stimulants. So you're talking about 2 or 3 syllabled words, Otherwise, very short, choppy words and sentences. You know them, strong men, vigorous men, robust men, men who have never had a sick day in their lives. They drive themselves to the limit. They lash themselves over the limit with stimulants. They crack. Often they crash. So if that doesn't get somebody hooked on reading the rest of that ad, I don't know what will. Very good ad.